rolling right up until 2 o'clock this afternoon. You've got Suss and Pete across the way, other side of the glass, and cavalcade of guests coming your way. David Deal, we'll talk a little Giants football. Yeah, like the big.
Only two.
I understand. For me, that's a cavalcade. I don't know. David Deal, former Giant, Super Bowl champion, got a charity event coming up on Monday.
Nice.
David Deal will hop on aboard and join Kim and I a little bit later on the program. Ricky Ricardo for his usual weekly spot at 12:20 this afternoon as the Yankees play an afternoon game in Seattle today,
Thank
Kim.
goodness.
And
We'll get to that in a second.
Yes, we'll get to your late night last night, watching a little Yankee baseball for all of us. But oh yeah, another day, another win for the Yankees. You'll take it. I mean, especially with the the news that came down last night, about 8:30 about Domingo Germán, maybe a little bit later than that. I mean, that he was going to get scratched from the start. Nick Nelson goes in. You eventually see Germán. He has emergency root canal because he's got an abscessed tooth. Germán eventually pitches 3 innings of the game, gives up the 3-run home run to Tom Murphy, and did strike out 5. But you look at that game last night. Judge, has been really, really good as of late. Had the player-only meeting. He steps up and hits the big home run last night. You get a couple hits from, Giancarlo Stanton, Luke Voigt chipping in. Offensively, they're good. You love the hustle. Gleyber Torres as well. Sessa, I thought, stepped into a very, very precarious spot last night, replacing Nelson, who couldn't even give you an inning of work. And Luis Sessa was great. I mean, 3 innings of work. I think you got to give Luis Sessa a lot of credit. We're going to focus in on the offense. They win the game, make it 2 straight victories over Seattle. They try and go for the sweep this afternoon against the Mariners. I think there's a lot of guys that you can say led to this Yankees victory last night. To me, it starts with Sessa, steps into a tough spot. Nelson, terrible. No Germán to start the game because he has the emergency root canal surgery. And Sessa comes in and pitched really, really well.
Yeah, and good for the Yankees. This is a team that doesn't always do what it should do.
Yeah.
And in this series has done exactly what it should have done and maybe a little more, and has gotten contributions, kind of sort of across the board, led by Aaron Judge. And good for them. I mean, really, they had to do something to feel better about themselves going into this All-Star break after what they just put on the board for everyone to see. They had to be better than they've been. Angel series, day off, another day off because of weather, obviously the Mets series. You needed to see something, a little spark from the Yankees. And I do think, they had the Monday day off. They flew to Seattle that day. Aaron Boone, well, both of them probably, but Aaron Boone on Zoom said something about the idea that they had to put some good baseball together before the All-Star break. And they seem to be on their way to doing that, Moose.
Yeah,
they seem to be on their way to doing that, and that's a very good sign.
Right, and it's just a matter of the issue you have with the Yankees. It's not an overreaction to a 12-1, 18-hit performance game 1 or a 5-4 victory last night. It's got to be sustained success. So now you need to win those games.
Yeah.
There's no doubt, and they've won the last 2. They won the last game against the Mets to avoid the sweep on Sunday night, the second game of that doubleheader. So they've won 3 straight games. You'll take that right now if you're a Yankee fan, if you're Aaron Boone, and maybe this team needed to get away a little bit. And, and it's also based on the opponent you go up against. I mean, it is the Seattle Mariners. It is a soft landing spot with Sheffield to kind of get these bats going. First game of the series. And you saw a little bit or a big carryover. They weren't as offensively overwhelming last night, Kim, but everybody chipped in. Yeah. Love the hustle by LeCastro as well, running to second base.
That's what he does,
That's
right?
Right. He's a speed guy, but you like that aspect of it. You saw it last night after he got acquired by the Arizona Diamondbacks. So all in all, a good night for the Yankees, but it's going to be about what do you do next?
Right.
Like, what's this afternoon going to bring? What's this weekend going to bring? We talked about Garrett Cole Friday night against the Astros. What does that look like against Houston? Because we've seen this team have, 2-3 good series in a row, and then they take 3 or 4 steps backwards, and then we're getting to the, fire Boone chants at Yankee Stadium and pep talks and all of this stuff. So it's about, you got to go 2 weeks here of sustained success before you start to believe that maybe the Yankees have turned a corner here a little bit.
Well, and significantly, they're putting themselves in a position where they could go into the All-Star game feeling good about themselves.
Yeah.
They could.
They could.
a 3-game set with the Astros, you'd obviously love to win the series.
Oh, no
I mean,
doubt.
sweeping the series would be pie in the sky type of stuff, but where the Yankees would really, really go into the break saying, we can find this and we can still do it. That's a sweep. They win 2 out of 3, they've got to be elated.
No doubt.
They have to be elated. And anything less than that, I think to an extent could be what past performance has told us to expect, but could also be, to use my most sophisticated couple of words in a row, like a real bummer. I do think that if they then go, and I don't know how I feel about the Houston series, because the Astros are so good. They are kind of momentum guys, it feels like. They do build off each other. It's a well-run organization, and I know about the garbage cans and stuff, but that stuff can't be happening anymore. And, rehashing it, I'm not sure does what good. Does it give the Yankees a little extra motivation? Maybe, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's just, as far as we know, that stuff is in the past, and I would expect that it's in the past. And by the way, the Astros are still a really good team. So that series, to me, will tell me more than the Seattle series, but I have to be fair. Because had they gone to Seattle and looked somewhat disinterested, somewhat unmotivated, and not put together a couple of wins here, I'm sure I'd be criticizing them. So I have to be fair and give them credit for these 2 wins in Seattle.
Yeah, and if you flip it forward, I think the Yankees, if you take 2 or 3 of Houston, and one of those wins is Friday night with Garrett Cole.
Well then
I think you could deal with not winning all 3. If you could see a positive step forward from Garrett Cole.
Good point, Moose. Moose, if they win 1 game and it's the Cole game, that is an enormously
no doubt
powerful and positive step for the Yankees. So good job by you on that. I didn't think of that in that moment.
And the other thing last night is, Boone made, and I know Chapman threw 27 pitches the night before, but he made the right decision sticking with Chad Green.
Chad Green,
I mean, he just did. I mean,
when Loizaga was good going before Green.
He was. Loizaga was good going with Chad Green there. I mean, Chapman, whether it be the finger issue or fingernail issue, whether it be, the grip on the baseball and spin, whatever it might be with Aroldis Chapman, he's got to figure it out. And last night was not the opportunity to go out there and give him the baseball.
This is not the time.
It's not the time.
Right.
Results are results. So it's not a matter of you're giving up on Aroldis Chapman, but put the big boy pants on. You need to start to win some baseball games here, and you could not have afforded to lose that game. 5-1 lead, 3-run home run given up by Herman, 5-4 game. Boone. People criticize Boone all they want. You know what? Last night we made the right call. There was no reason for Aroldis Chapman. I know he threw 20. He didn't throw 80 pitches the night before. If Chapman was right, he would have been in that game last night. He made the right decision because Chapman's not right now.
Speaking of which, it will be very interesting in Houston if Aaron Boone has a 1 or 2 run lead to protect late, what he does there.
Yeah.
Very interesting and to an extent telling. I don't think overall the most telling decision simply because of the All-Star break. Aaron Boone right now is trying to scratch out a win, and he hasn't had to scratch them out really against Seattle, let's be honest. But he'll go to Houston trying to scratch out wins any way he can. Any way he can. I don't know that he'll worry big picture. What does this say about Chappie? I don't know about that. He has to win any of those games that are winnable as we get into the later innings in Houston, no matter who's on the mound. Green, Loizaga, maybe Chapman, whoever he uses, he has to put guys out there that can get the job done.
Because he's given him an opportunity to turn around, and he hasn't.
Right. So
he's given, even after the struggles early last week, Kim, he was there.
Right.
Gives up the home run to Alonso.
Right.
Brings him into a 12-1 game, no pressure whatsoever. He loads the bases. Right. All of these things. So he's given you the earmarks of a pitcher that's not right for whatever reason. You're exactly right. I mean, and I didn't think he would bench him last week. At this point, because of the results that we've seen here, he's got no other choice. I mean, he's got to do right by the other guys on that team, not necessarily just by Aroldis Chapman. And I don't care if Chapman's feelings are hurt or where he's going through or how many tweets he's sending out. The Yankees got to win baseball games.
You don't care about the tweet. The tweets don't factor in for you. You don't read the tweets.
I'm tired of the tweets of the pep talks. I can't take anymore.
I think Chappie nailed that tweet. I think he should get a chance. You don't value the tweet.
Kim, it's been so much as a Yankee fan this year.
I don't even know you anymore.
It's been so much as a Yankee fan to deal with this year. Whether it be Fishman and Sherman, whether it be Hal Steinbrenner, whether it be Cashman, whether it be Boone. I mean, you can't take anymore. Stanton, telling you what's going on with the team. I mean, after a while, it's like, oh my God, just stop talking.
I mean,
for the love of God, just stop talking.
I'm not going to stop talking.
I understand. I'm talking about the Yankees.
I know you are. I'm just giving you a hard time. So I'm here tomorrow by myself.
Yeah.
You won't be good for you. Weekend off. As we look ahead, there are two things that cannot happen to the Yankees between now and the All-Star break, which for them will start. That's a day game Sunday, right? In Houston?
I believe it is.
So
yes.
the All-Star break will start around, 6 p.m.?
Yeah.
Eastern time?
Yeah.
Sunday in Houston. And I'll fly home or presumably fly wherever they want to, I guess. It's the All-Star break. Anyway, they cannot have...
2 o'clock start.
Thank you. We love 2 o'clock starts.
God,
you and I can't get away from a 2 o'clock start to save our lives.
Yeah.
They cannot have Cole be awful Friday night. They cannot have that become a storyline that continues to marinate over the All-Star break and carries into the second half. They
totally
can't
agree.
have that. And they cannot have Chapman blow a game. Chapman can walk a tightrope to some degree. And that would be interesting to see if Boone sticks with him through the tightrope or says, I got to get him out of there. I don't have confidence in him right now. Again, fascinating series in Houston. It always was going to be. It is now incredibly fascinating. Like, I will watch every pitch of those games. They cannot have Cole fall flat. They cannot. And they cannot have Chapman give it up in Houston, in my opinion. Or you are talking about storylines, or at least one storyline that simply isn't going to go away.
Well, and it'll take all the momentum.
Yeah.
Say you finish
true.
off the sweep of the Mariners, it'll take all the momentum away from it. And I agree with you. And I got to be honest with you, I have no confidence in Cole Friday night. Sitting here right now, tomorrow night, I don't have a lot of confidence that Garrett Cole, the way that he's looked, the body language that he's had, the lack of confidence, he looks like an absolute beaten man. I don't know if I really believe that Garrett Cole going into that place against that lineup is now he's 1 through 6. They don't give you much room to breathe.
No.
They really don't. I mean, it's a really good lineup. Look at their run differential this year. I mean, they have absolutely just browbeat teams during the regular season here when they've gotten healthy.
Well, and now's their time to to have that chip on their shoulder because the garbage cans won it for them before. You know what I mean? So now it's their time to say, we don't need the garbage cans.
Right.
And people are still going to remind them of the garbage cans.
No doubt.
Which we understand. But if they're not using the garbage cans, and I assume that they are not, they are still a team that's really good. And I would wonder, how much did they need the garbage cans in the first place?
Let me ask you this question. Friday night.
Yep.
Say the Yankees win one game of this series.
It's got to be Friday night.
But it's Friday night. Cole gives you 7 innings.
Then I go back on the idea they have to win the series.
Okay.
I think they essentially win the series if Cole is Cole Friday night. Not Cole, giving you 5 1/3.
Yeah.
Having that 1-run lead
7 dominant
and having
innings.
the bullpen come in and just be great and having it hold up and, maybe Judge hits a 7th inning home run that gives him a little more distance. Not that.
No.
Not that. Cole has to be instrumental in the win Friday night, and then I honestly think the Yankees have already won the series.
I would agree. 877-337-6666.